Introducing the Thomas & Thomas Contact 2. This will be the official field test and review for these two rods. So right off the bat, got a confession to make. I've been secretly fishing the Thomas & Thomas for the last several weeks before we even decided to become a dealer for them. I've had a couple of very loyal customers cheat on us and go buy these at other shops, and I found out about it. I'm like, I've got to try that rod and check it out. Now, I've always liked Thomas & Thomas rods, but there's never been one model in particular that was like, we have to have it at Red's. Well, this is the first one. The Contact 2 is absolutely an exquisite rod. It is the tightest Euro nymphing rod that I have ever fished. I can feel exactly what my flies are doing. It casts delicate, lightweight nymphs at close range very well. It does all the sensitivity stuff where I can draw and lead flies across the bottom with control, detecting every strike, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to talk a lot about the construction and the technology and the materials because the rod designer, Joe Goodspeed, has a couple of other videos and things out there that are just very well done as far as the construction goes. But the first thing you will notice about it that I want to point out is you can see there is kind of a hoop or cross wrap all up and down the rod that you can actually feel with your finger. And that must add an incredible amount of strength because the lightweight feel of this rod and the low swing weight is really incredible. And that's a really unique kind of feature to the rod, and you'll notice it right off the bat. This is the 10-foot 2-weight. I have this set up with a Perdigon nymph with a 3.5 millimeter bead as my anchor. And up here, I'm running a little olive zebra midge as my tag fly up top. I've got it set up with a Rio Euro nymphing Phipps line and a Lamson Speedster 5 Plus S-Series. And I'll put a link to the video description. I can't remember how many ounces it is, but it balances out pretty well on this rod, so I would say Lamson Speedster 5 Plus is a pretty good match. This is the 10-foot 9-inch 3-weight. This is a new rod to meet, and I'm going to be taking it on its maiden voyage today. And I've got it set up with a little Sculptzilla trailer and a caddis pupa up top. I'm going to use the 10-foot 9-inch 3-weight. I have that set up with my Sage ESN reel, and I have the heaviest weight in it positioned about there, and it does seem to balance quite nice there. I have an SA competition series nymph line on this particular reel right here. I'm going to fish the bigger, deeper water that maybe is a little swifter with the 10-foot 9-inch 3-weight, reach out there a little bit with that bigger setup and reach down and try to dig them out of some big pools. And I'll hit kind of the light, delicate edges with the 10-foot 2-weight today. I've just been really pleased with the 10-foot 2-weight so far, and I have no doubt I'm going to feel the same way about the 10-foot 9-inch 3-weight as I've just heard unbelievably good feedback on these rods. As far as construction goes, I will add a couple of just quick hitters. I really like the larger fighting butt. The 10-foot 2-weight in the TNT series does have a fighting butt, which I appreciate because there's going to be so much bend in that rod on nicer fish. You will lean on that, and then it has true Euro nymph rod guide spacing, which I don't know if it's true or not. I'm going to call it that, but the first guide is down here in this bottom section, and that's true of both the 10-foot and the 10-foot 9-inch. But what that eliminates is the closer that guide is to your reel, you get a lot less sway and bow in this handling line. Like this right here would be kind of an exaggerated example, but if you're not tight right here, you're not tight to your fly, and you don't know what you're missing. So you've got to keep that line nice and snug between that first guide and here in order to stay ultimately connected to fish. So I'm going to go put these on the water. I'm going to film a little fishing, give you a couple of thoughts, and hopefully just work in some tips. But super stoked about these rods. I'm actually just excited to go fishing just because I know this rod is giving me a competitive advantage. So what I like about that 10-foot 2-weight is when I'm running some of these lighter setups, I'm fishing my regular spot out here across from the shop, is the casting can be very frustrating when people are learning to Euro nymph because you only have the weight of the flies to load the rod. and you don't have the weight of the fly line. And so it really, there's a learning curve to casting it. And when I first started Euro nymphing, there's a nice fish right there. When I first started learning to Euro nymph, I was on too heavy of a rod. Gosh, that's fun. I can't keep chatting. That's just too good of a feeling right there. But the 10-foot 2/8, like when you're gonna run lighter setups, if you're gonna be in an area, this is a big river. A 10-foot 2/8 might not be my first choice for a big river, but if you're on areas where you're gonna throw a lot of 16s and 14s, and maybe a 14 is gonna be your, oh, that's a nice rainbow. I wish you could see it right now. Maybe I should spin the camera around because he just did a big jump. In fact, let's take a look. Get a little fighting action in here, and you can see the water I'm fishing. Not that you haven't seen it before if you watch our videos. And just so you know, this river I'm on, the Yakima, these are all wild trout. There's no stocking. There he goes. There he goes. That's a pretty hot fish. I don't think I've caught this one lately. What was I talking about? Oh, the 10-foot 2/8. It makes casting those little nymphs really a lot easier. And when I do a clinic and I have a few people in there, there's two things I know to be true. The lighter the rod, the better people cast, and the less they seem to tangle, and they just seem to pick up the nuance of the Euro drift. And if it's a drift, it's more of a presentation. They seem to pick it up just a little faster. Come on back here, buddy. Heel. Heel, boy. Oh, he's running me in the shallows now. And, you know, the 10-foot 2/8, the other thing is, too, it's, you know, about the lighter rod and maybe some of the advantages to it. I really like it. I can't live with only one Euro rod. So, for me, it's easy. I just get several of them. And you will, too. When you get hooked like I am, man. This rod gives you an advantage. But when it comes to 10-foot 2/8, it protects light tippet. I'm on 6X right now. And it'll protect the light tippet on some of those runs. And that fish took that anchor fly. Oh, come back here. All right, let me get this fellow landed. There we go. Thomas & Thomas 10-foot 2, contact 2. Love my 2/8. Getting trout like that on that Perdigon nymph. Love it. Get him back in the water and find another. Well, there was a grab. Pick my pocket there. I'm on the 10-foot 9-inch 3/8 now, and this rod has a huge fishable range in comparison to the 10-footer. I know it's only 9 inches longer, but you do gain quite a bit of reach and ability, and so I'm trying to get out more in some of the heavier seams down there, or out there. And a lot of times what I'm doing is early in the drift on this setup, I'm really fishing the nymph, and then at the tail end, I tend to pick them up on that streamer as it lifts up out of the rocks. But the streamer just really makes it fun. Ooh, pick my pocket again. I should have been more decisive. All right, let's run that guy over again here. Get a good lead on it this time. Get nice and tight to it. There it was. That was a good grab. I think they're getting on to me. Probably could fish through this maybe a little less frequently. These fish know me. There it was. Ooh, that's a pretty nice bite. And some of those, I don't know if I would feel those on a rod that isn't quite as sensitive. It's hard to tell. I mean, I fish a lot of rods, and like me raving about this Thomas & Thomas, I should rave about it. It's $825. You know, even the $300 rods, they all have good value. But I'm not sure some of these strikes that I'm feeling that I would feel on other rods. That was the bottom there. I'm really dredging it. But what I can do with this 10-foot 9-incher, and I mean, it'd be even more with the 11. I think the other one, I don't have the other one. The other one's 11.2. There's a real nice trout. The other one's like 11.2. And that one would give me even more range. That is so much fun. Oh my gosh. Yep, he ate the nymph early in the drift. I figured as much. He hit real hard. Not as big as the trout I caught on that 10-foot 2-weight, but a nice pickup. I am not a snob when it comes to trout whatsoever. There we go. All right, got my second trout on my 3109. Or I think they call it a 109.3 at Thomas & Thomas. That's how they do things on the East Coast, apparently. The West Coast, we say 3109. Anyway, another small trout. We'll take it. As I was saying, on a river this big, if I had to choose one rod, it'd be the 3109. So I can hold those drifts better, further out, a little bit longer. But gosh, that 10-foot 2-weight is really snappy. If you're on smaller water or like creeks at all, that 10-foot 2-weight is just money. Man, the thing is just so tight. That's the only way I can really describe it. There's just no loose vibration to it whatsoever. All right, there we go. Nice little rainbow. I'll take it on my 1093-4 Thomas & Thomas, now that I'm learning to speak East Coast. Anyway, I love the rod. These two make a great 1-2 punch. Obviously, there's links in the video description. We would love to get your business. We have these in stock pretty much all the time. We bought up pretty good on them, so we would love to hook you up and get you out there. And I really do. This is one of the first rods where I can say I definitely have an advantage because of the equipment. And maybe at some point another rod will come out that'll rival it. But right now, this has become my go-to rod. So I switched up to a more conventional Euro nymph system, and I also wanted to see how this 3-weight fishes with just 2 little nymphs, and apparently it fishes pretty good. Let's see what fly that one ate. So now I've just got 2. I got a 16 and a 14. I've got a 14 Duracell as my anchor fly, and then I've got just a jig caddis pupa of some sort. I can't remember the name of it on the other end. So, nice little trout. I love the sensitivity. Again, the 3109 for big water. This is my go-to. Okay, I'm going to wrap up my review. These are the TNT Contact 2 rods. I love them. I'd be very curious to fish the 11-foot, 2-inch, 3-weight. Little bit more reach. If I were high-sticking stonefly nymphs in some of these bigger pools and swift water, I think I would appreciate having that little bit longer rod. But as far as the go-to, I think that that 109.3, if we're speaking East Coast, that's 10-foot, 9-inch, 3-weight, would be great. And the 10-foot 2-weight for any smaller water is going to be fantastic. That rod is just so snappy and tight, and just it seems to just rebound very quickly to its straight position, giving you a lot of control. And I've landed fish up to 18 inches on that 2-weight. It didn't seem to complain much. Also because the 2-weight, again, has a fighting butt on it. So anyway, fabulous rods. You can get them right here at Red's. We ship super fast. We'd love to hook you up. We think they're a great product. TNT is a US-built company. There's a link, excuse me, in the video description to learn more about Thomas & Thomas if you don't know much about the company and what they're all about. But they've been building fantastic fly rods for a long time.